spot right along the Cuyahoga River with great views of downtown Cleveland, and yet nothing is going on here. Developers, Cleveland whiskey, and a warehouse full of artists just around the corner are trying to change that.
Clean up the brick. I hope to sandblast everything, bring it back to what it looked like originally.
Cleveland whiskey founder Tom Lick says that's why he's expecting to pour $6 to $8 million into his business's new home in the next year and a half. His current location is small, and he's spread out over a few floors on East 25th Street.
10 times the space, 20 times the production capacity. Plus, we'll be able to put in a bar and restaurant and a place for people to really come and enjoy themselves.
Below the restaurant is room for a full kitchen, gift shop, and plenty of space to distill whiskey. Up above, Tom says he envisions solar panels on the roof and a greenhouse using CO2 created during the distilling process.
The plan is to grow vegetables and fruits and herbs that we will then serve in our kitchen.
He's got a lot of space and what seems like a plan for it all.
Somewhere in this space, I'm gonna have to fit in some offices for people. I'm not exactly sure where they're gonna go.
But just outside the front door, the lots are vacant and the streets are empty.
People will find us here even if we're the only one, but we will not be.
We're trending towards kind of mixed use here.
Rico Petro and his partner Joel Shear own 7 acres, including the building Cleveland Whiskey is moving into. They're not deterred by how quiet the spot they're calling Flat South is right now, because they know what it once was.
At one time there were 200-300 of these properties sitting down here in the Industrial Valley. They're not here anymore. So I think it's our responsibility as Clevelanders to really kind of breathe the energy back into these properties and make sure they stick around.
Also, it's right along the river with incredible views of downtown and close enough to walk to Ohio City and Tremont.
I like to think that maybe we're the Great Lakes Brewing that was Ohio City when it went in there. Well, Cleveland whiskey will come in here. I think others will follow.
It could be one of the early puzzle pieces to fall into place in what's a much larger plan for the riverfront. There are already new trails along Scranton Peninsula, with the Red Line Greenway coming along and Irishtown Bend prepped for huge investment over the next year.
For as long as I've been in Cleveland, the river's always been kind of considered a negative. It's been, it's stepped back, right? It's hard to get to, it's hard to access. You really have to come in at the mouth of Lake Erie to use it for boating. And I think the goals of a lot of the developers in town, Joel Shear, myself included, is to figure out a way to open up the river, not only to the major industrialists that use it for their business, but also for recreation purposes.
It's not just a wood shop.
Aaron Cunningham's custom furniture business is one of the types of companies Rico says can define the whole neighborhood. After his Major League Baseball career ended, Aaron turned to woodwork and welding.
So I want the whole building to have this vibe.
His building is also a home for other creative companies with an event space, waiting to be a place for businesses to grow and people to spend their time.
So my wife and kids come to work a lot, and so they can just come in here and hang out, and then I can just close the door, and my son can sit here and watch me through the glass.
The appeal to building up the space is clear.
You got Progressive Field, and you got a Rocket Mortgage now, and then the casino and the view, and then at night how this bridge lights up.
Aaron's just hoping his fellow makers can play a big role in it too.
You get all these creative types together that are good at what they do, they can build some pretty incredible things, and the vibe you can create is really cool.